Hi, I'm Mallory Lewis.
And I'm Lamb Chop Lewis.
I think they know that. And we're so excited to be here with Jim on the Jim Master Show. And it's going to start right now.
Hey guys, I love that intro. What a tag team. You are true professionals.
I taught her everything she knows.
I never thought that I would be introduced on this show or anywhere on the planet by Lamb Chop and Mallory Lewis. I don't think there's anything that can top this. I think this was the pinnacle.
I think that being introduced by me is the best. Her.
It is such a joy. It is such an honor. It's such a pleasure to have the two of you here on the Jim Masters Show. And I am such fans of you both, have been longtime fans, and of your mom, Shari Lewis, as well. We're going to talk about her and her legendary career. And there's some beautiful things happening, a documentary. There's a book, of course, as well, celebrating your fabulous mom and celebrating Lamb Chop as well. Now, you guys are coming to us from beautiful Portugal, right?
Yes. We moved here.
You did? Now, did you?
Wow. 4 months ago, my husband and I and Lamb Chop, and of course, Charlie Horse and Hush Puppy,
yes,
decided that we needed a new adventure. And the adventure, during Trump 1.0, I was surfing Portugal porn, which does not mean what you think it means. It means I was looking at real estate here. And so
that would be what it means.
That's what it means. And
it's a beautiful spot too, where you
decided it was time to move. We decided Portugal was the place to do it. And we are having the most amazing time. The people in Portugal are so kind, so nice, so calm. They're into family. They're into friends. The food is unbelievable.
And they don't really eat a lot of lamb.
No,
not at all.
But this is sardine season right now. So you only eat sardines, by the way,
if you want to be really Portuguese.
Portuguese?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to be really Portuguese, you only eat sardines from June 15th until August 15th, when they are fat and oily and delicious. So we've been having a wonderful time.
Lamb Chop, does that excite you? I noticed you were looking at Mallory when she was mentioning the fat and the juicy and delicious.
Oh, it's so good. I got grease all over me.
You did not. We're very careful never to get her dirty.
Not at all. Lamb Chop, you have graced us on, television and film and stage and everywhere for many, many years. How does it feel to be on the Jim Masters Show?
Oh my goodness, it's orgasmic.
Lamb Chop, stop that. She's very happy to be on the Jim Masters Show.
I've been a fan of yours for a long, long time.
And right back at you as well. And there's some really beautiful things that are happening, celebrating, of course, Shari, your mom, and you, Mallory, and Lamb Chop. Lamb Chop, how do you like being in Portugal? It's a beautiful spot, isn't it?
I love it. The people are so nice and the food is so delicious.
That's Spanish.
Whatever. And we go sailing and we go horseback riding.
But mostly for the last few weeks, we have just been doing Zoom interviews to promote Mom's new documentary, Shari and Lamb Chop, which is going to be at the Quad Cinema this weekend and then rolling out across the country.
It is, and that is a real beautiful thing too. Tell us about this and how it all came together and what people will be left with, what they can expect when they see this lovingly produced documentary?
Well, it's interesting because as the estate, you don't get a lot of creative input. You don't actually get any.
Because otherwise it wouldn't be a documentary, it would be a whole movie.
Yeah, you're right. So, but luckily our director was amazing. Our director's named Lisa Dapolito.
I love Lisa.
I know. And Lisa directed the Love Gilda documentary. So she specializes in documentaries about strong, smart women.
Which I am.
Yes, but this isn't actually about you. Tell you what, go away for a minute. So Lisa specializes in documentaries about strong, smart women, and that's what Mom was. And so I trusted her to tell Mom's story. And it was funny because people say the same thing about Mom, that she was smart, that she was focused, that she was determined. And Lisa called me one day incredibly frustrated. She said, "Is there anybody you can give me who will stop telling me that your mother was the most focused person they've ever met?" And I'm like, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's who she was. And so Lisa told the story beautifully. It's a story of a woman who was born into a very difficult era to be female, the 50s or the 40s. I guess she was born in the 40s. And then things got better. And now things are worse, unfortunately. When Mom was making $5,000 a week, in the 60s, she had to have my dad sign for her credit card because women didn't have any rights, just like they're losing rights now. But Mom was I love that picture of Mom. That's one of my
It's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Leave this picture up and let me speak to this picture for a moment.
Yes, stunning.
Okay. People thought of Mom, there we go, as a nice little lady who played with puppets. And that, nope, I liked it when, there we go, a nice little lady who played with puppets.
She's doing something special for us, folks.
Exactly. And I'm moving in the chair.
Like yeah.
So, and she was a nice little lady who played with puppets, but she also was a producer, a director, songwriter, a dancer, a magician, a businesswoman, a mother, a wife. I would assume, since I'm here, a lover. She was an actual human being with all the things that make up a human being. She had good days. She had bad days. And people often will say to me when I do political material on TikTok and Instagram, we have 500,000 followers. You can find us there. But people often will say to me, "Oh, your mother would be so upset about you doing that." And I'm like, you didn't know my mother. My mother was a far left liberal. She believed in human rights. She on Lamb Chops Play Along in the early 90s, before DEI existed, we had children of every color of the rainbow. On Charlie Horse Music Pizza, we had a girl in a wheelchair. Mom believed that you needed to show people themselves. People needed to be represented. Otherwise, they couldn't imagine what the future could be. So she was very political. She campaigned for Al Gore. She testified in front of Congress on behalf of PBS, which has just been defunded. So I think the reason I had this documentary made, or made this documentary, however you want to phrase that, is because I wanted people to understand that, yes, the Shari Lewis that they loved existed. That is truly what one of her personalities was. But she had many others, just like all people have many different sides to them. And so I like to say that your outer grown-up will take your inner child to get to know their childhood besties. And nobody is going to walk away from this movie disillusioned. Oh no, Shari Lewis was actually mean. She wasn't mean. Nobody's going to walk away from this movie There's no, what is it, Baby Jane, no more wire hangers moment in this. But
Oh,
they will,
Crawford, yeah.
yeah, but they will walk away from it. You know, when you guys met Mom, you were children. And so you looked at Mom as a figure up there, an adult. And you thought of her as a lady who wore overalls and had lived in a house that had a red barn in the backyard. Well,
Wait, she did?
she actually did wear overalls, but I'm getting it. It's just for comfort.
Yeah.
You don't have to hold your tummy in overalls. But we sadly did not have a red barn in our backyard. And Mom was a complex and very interesting human being. And so now that you're all grown-ups, you get to meet her as equals, as opposed to just as a child sees an adult.
Ballet dancer, music conductor. I mean, there's a lot of sides to your mom, Shari Lewis, that some people might not even realize. So a phenomenal businesswoman. She was very exacting in that way, which I think is fantastic and very inspiring for others.
Yes. She was. Nobody who knew her was not inspired by her. She was smart. The final, Mom taught a lot of lessons over the years to the kids, but the final lesson comes from this movie, which is do not give up. Stay in the game. Mom, the world didn't want Mom for a number of years. And that was when she did state fairs. That was when she learned how to conduct symphonies. That was when she wrote 60 books. Mom, there's a saying that the women in my family don't hear the letter N. So the word no just sounds like, oh.
I love that. That's a good way to look at it too. You mentioned, she's always had a wonderful affiliation with her viewers who've loved her and her super fans. And she has been on all the different talk shows over the years as well. And just so many incredible performances, and touched the children's lives early with her own series, but also when she would guest on other shows like Sesame Street, of course, as well. There she is with Big Bird, and, bringing on Lamb Chop, I think just really reached an audience early on. I could imagine she knew full well what people thought of her and Lamb Chop, right? She knew that they loved her, that she really made a difference in their lives. They really cared about her. They miss her. We all miss her to this day. Nobody more than you, but we all miss her as well to this day. She felt the love, right?
Oh, yes. And it's interesting because on TikTok and Instagram, where you can find me and Lamb Chop on an almost daily basis, the comments that I get, your mom was the one bright light in an otherwise dark childhood. And, thank you for being on the right side of history. And I've always loved your mom. Your mom was my first crush. The dog toys that are out there, people have asked me, why are those dog toys so successful? Now, mind you, I have no business association with those dog toys. It's all fine, but I'm not promoting them because I make anything of them. But the nice folks at Multipet, they do, and that's awesome. And the dog toys, people say, why do people love those dog toys so much? Or why? And I'm like, well, kids are not having kids these days. Understandably, the world is an absolute mess. But they are having dogs. And so they are sharing Lamb Chop with their dogs the way they would have shared Lamb Chop with their kids. We're the world a different place. And plus the dogs are in the shape of a bone, if you think about it, the dog toys. So I think the dogs like them because of that.
You're a multi-award-winning writer, television producer, of course, puppeteer as well. For you, when did you say, I think I not only want to celebrate Mom's legacy, and maybe even share some tidbits about Mom that the public doesn't know, that she was a real person and she had feelings and she wasn't just the puppeteer, but also when you decided to carry the legacy on with Lamb Chop and doing the puppetry as well.
When my mom died, I was getting a lot of letters saying, is Lamb Chop dead too? And obviously I couldn't let that answer be yes. I was also pregnant, and I know how to parent the way my mom did, which includes touring with my son. So I didn't really have a vision of, I didn't want my son to grow up in a world without Lamb Chop. So I started by just sort of, I was traveling, just accepting posthumous awards that people gave mom. And then my ex-husband very wisely said, you know, we can't make a living with you just accepting awards. Do you want to do this? And I'm not shy. I don't know if you noticed that. And so I put Lamb Chop on at an awards event, and she just said, Shari would be so proud. And the audience clapped. And, you know, if it had been a script, it would have said collective gasp, audience applause. Some guy called me from New England and said, I've been following your career. And I remember thinking, I have a career in this? And he offered me an hour-long Christmas show. And I didn't have an act. I had Lamb Chop. I knew I was comfortable performing with Lamb Chop, but I didn't have an act. So I started with a 2.5-minute act I did at the LA Zoo, and then a 4-minute act at the LA Zoo, and then a 6-minute act. I had a huge learning curve over that year. And we got to wherever this was in New England, and my ex-husband came running backstage, and he looked at me, and he's like white, and because he was doing all of my sound equipment. His name is Brad Hood. He was a skydiving cinematographer. He was doing all my sound equipment. He's white and he's sweating, and he comes backstage. He goes, "There's a lot of people out there." Yes, that's the goal. It never occurred to me that I couldn't do this. So I had a lot to learn. And then the Magic Castle was very kind. You're only supposed to perform 2 weeks out of the year at the Magic Castle. That's the rule. But the first year that I was performing there, I got 8 weeks because the gentleman who was booking it really wanted me to get stage time. Now, if you're doing 23 15-minute shows in a week, by the end of the week, you own that 15 minutes. And so they made sure that I had an act by the end of the year, a full act. And I've never had to learn how to be a ventriloquist. I don't know why I didn't need to learn that. I just do it. I never had to learn Lamb Chop's voice. She's my little sister. I know what she sounds like. Or Charlie Horse or Hush Puppy. I did have to learn things like turn your microphone on before you go on stage. If the stage manager is gesticulating wildly from the side, he's probably got a reason. He knows you're busy. And find the opening to the curtain before you go on stage. Those were all, I mean, I had to learn a certain amount of that. But at this point, I've been doing this for 26 years. Mom did it for 56 to 99. So mom did it for 43 years. So I am more than halfway down the road that she took.
Your grandfather, her father, wasn't he Peter Pan, the Magic Man in New York?
The official magician for the city of New York.
Yeah.
He was all kinds of fun and all kinds of naughty. And I mean, he was a professor at the yeshiva, and he would say, "Oh, bacon's not pork," you know. So, but and then there was mom, all kinds of serious and all kinds of not serious, but she was very focused. And then there's me. I'm kind of like grandpa. And then there's my son, who is that's one of my favorites. Then there's my son, who's very much like my mom. So I can't wait to meet my granddaughters.
That's
not that there's any in the works, but in my mind, I'm getting twin granddaughters. Do you hear that, Michaela?
Did you hear that, Michaela? Look at this gorgeous shot. Wow. That's our Mallory here. Wasn't it amazing? I love this shot too. Your mother having some fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, mom was fun. And
yes.
She didn't want to be a children's entertainer. That was not her goal. Her goal was to be incredibly famous. That the children's entertainer part is just what stuck, but she took it terribly seriously. She only produced extremely high quality stuff for kids, so that which is sadly lacking these days. High quality, high talent, but
and Emmy Award winning too on multiple occasions.
13.
And yeah, and you as well, joining
Yes.
Mom in that.
I've had 5 nominations and 1 win.
That's a great shot of you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I was young. I was 30 in that.
That's a wonderful shot.
Long time ago.
Now, there's also a family connection to David Copperfield. And did your dad teach magic to David Copperfield? Your grandfather. Wow.
No, my dad did nothing. My grandfather taught David magic when he was
How incredible is that?
Yeah, David's a lovely man. Really kind, warm, lovely human being.
That's terrific to have that family connection as well with somebody like David. You know, when you think about all of the incredible years and years of phenomenal entertainment that your mom provided for all of us, what was it like growing up? When did you realize who she was and what she did? She was always mom to you.
Well, you know, I grew up in Beverly Hills with Gene Hackman's kid, Roger Moore's kid, Shirley Jones's kid. So mom wasn't terribly famous compared to the other famous parents. And it was not a town. I grew up in Beverly Hills, and everybody had some connection to show business. So it wasn't until, I would say, and I loved touring with my mom. Like when we would go on the road and do fairs or do Vegas. I absolutely adored touring with my mom. That was one of my favorite memories. And that's one of my favorite memories of time with my son is when he and I were on the road together. But it wasn't really till Lamb Chop's Play Along that I sort of got the massive impact of mom being mom. And she was always lovely. Like when we were at the mall and people would come over and say hi, she was always nice. And we were talking about it one day, and I said, why are some celebrities so awful when fans come up? And my mom was like, look, if you don't want people to come up to you and tell you that they like you, you should be a dry cleaner. You know, I mean, like the whole thing of show business is you are going, pick me, look at me, look, clap for me. So you can't turn that off. When people care, if you are successful in show business, you make people love you. And if they love you, they do have a right. Now, do they have a right to hound your children? No, I'm not obviously arguing the other dumb side of this. But if someone comes up to you in a restaurant and says, I loved your last movie, your response should be, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And she knew that. She always had such a bright smile and a very perky and loving and warm way about her that really translated through the screen, but also through Lamb Chop. The love that people have for Lamb Chop as well transcends the ages too. It's not always something that's easy to master, but she certainly has, and you continue that tradition.
Interesting is here in Portugal, they don't know who Lamb Chop is. But when I pull, I mean, the expat community, of course, does. But when I pulled Lamb Chop out and introduced Lamb Chop to my neighbor, now when my neighbor, Rita, by the way, it's not Rita, it's Rita. When Rita now gets Lamb Chop, like when Lamb Chop talks to Portuguese people, they are enchanted. I have spoken at a number of the anti-Trump rallies that have been, you know, the No Kings rally, etc. And RTP, Radio Television Portugal, called me and said, we'd like to do a story on you. So they did a lovely 5-minute piece on me and my husband, who actually stole the show, and Lamb Chop. And the young producer and the camera person. They had no idea who Lamb Chop was, and they were all excited to meet her and talk to her. So I think Lamb Chop has a certain magic.
A magic that transcends absolutely and reaches all different age groups. You have the kids that were, well, the adults now that were kids then who still remember, but also there's new audiences always being introduced to Lamb
Yes.
Chop, which is amazing. It's pretty cool, huh?
It's one of the reasons I love social media. It is the perfect format for me and Lamb Chop. I can do it easily, quickly. I can speak politically, or I can speak, sometimes I do a series called Words of where I think advice from Lamb Chop. She is warm, she is empowering, and it makes people so happy, which is really nice.
So I know Lamb Chop is taking a little nap for a second. We'll have Lamb Chop back, but what is Lamb Chop really like? That's what everybody wants to know.
She's sassy. She has opinions. She is a 6-year-old girl, but she's a very wise 6-year-old girl. And like all or many 6-year-old girls, she calls out the BS. She stands on principle. And she's a lot of fun.
Now, of course, a lot of your mom, Shari, was in Lamb Chop. How much of Mallory is now in Lamb Chop? That's
an interesting question. And congratulations, by the way, on asking a question that no one else has asked, because I've been doing this for 26 years. Most questions have been asked at some point in 26 years. That's a new one. We have a different relationship. Mom was Lamb Chop's mom. I'm Lamb Chop's sister. When mom passed, Lamb Chop did not get another mother. She just got a bossy older sister and decided she wasn't terribly interested in the older sister being bossy. So she bosses me. She looks to me for safety. I look to her for companionship. We're besties. But she's pretty sassy.
That's exactly how we thought the description would be, and I wouldn't change it. And I think that's fantastic. One of the first, I had a ventriloquist doll when I was a kid. I love ventriloquism.
Sorry.
And it was a Charlie McCarthy. It came out of the Sears Wish book.
I'm really sorry then.
And we were playing with it, coming back from New England, going back to New York. And we were playing with it in the back seat. And what happens? My sister pulls the string in the back.
And broke it?
The mouth snapped out.
That's horrible.
Could you imagine? What are you going to do with a Charlie McCarthy? That's pretty much... I
think those dolls are pretty ugly anyway. So. But you clearly have never forgiven your sister.
Oh, I love her. Yeah, no, she's
long-term resentment that I'm sensing from you, Jim.
Because I brought it up?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of going back in time, my friend, look at this. Wow.
That picture. That's okay, so there's my mom's the little one. Then over my mom's right shoulder is my grandma.
Wow.
Then the other person standing up is my great grandma.
Yeah.
And the person sitting down would be my great great grandma.
Wow. Look at that generational photo. That's incredible. That is something spectacular. Look at this shot.
You're my cute little mommy.
Wow. When was this? Do you know when this was?
Probably, what could she be? 3, 4?
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful shot. And look at this one. Wow.
That was my grandpa.
That's incredible. Great shots, great family photos. There isn't necessarily a museum, but isn't there a center for
the Center for Puppetry Arts
Atlanta? Yeah.
A permanent Lamb Chop, Charlie Horse, and Hush Puppy exhibit with not all the costumes, but some of the costumes and a couple of Emmys. And I'm very happy that it is there because I love the Center for Puppetry Arts.
It's a fantastic place, and I encourage folks to go there. We have this short little clip that we want to show, Shari, and of course, a little bit about Mallory here. That's really beautifully put together and gives you just a little bit more of an appreciation of this family heritage that the Lewises have, and Mallory continuing it. Again, she's also a gifted writer. She's written, is it over 20 children's novels? It's incredible.
In the way back time machine.
Yes, and as a prolific television producer and so much more. Take a look at this, gang, and we'll continue.
Lamb Chop and Shari Lewis first rocketed to fame in the mid-1950s, their career spanning almost 5 decades, culminating in the 90s with Lamb Chop's Play Along, for which Shari and Mallory won the first ever Mother-Daughter Emmy Award. With her mother's passing in 1998, Mallory took over the legacy that is Lamb Chop, and the duo have been touring for the last 2 decades. From performing arts center shows to the production of dozens of edutainment videos to nightclub performances, including at the world-famous Magic Castle, and even a return engagement in the Big Apple Circus at Lincoln Center, where they had the honor of ringmastering, to participating in industry panels. Mallory Lewis and Lamb Chop have had a varied and exciting career, but their true passion is using the power of the lamb to promote worthy causes, such as founding the Women's Skydiving World Record Breast Cancer charity, Jump for the Cause, which raised over $2 million for research. Among other charities to which they've contributed their time are the Shari Lewis Telethon, the Kids First Film Festival, which promotes youth activism in the industry, as well as shooting dozens of PSAs, including ones for Heifer International, Little Kids Rock, and several autism charities. However, Mallory's greatest honor and fun has been the numerous events he's performed at for our troops, from bases as far-ranging as Okinawa, Japan, to locations in Germany, as well as dozens of bases throughout the U.S. The people, places, and experiences have been incredible. In fact, they even got to land on a carrier in a tailhook. Hundreds of TV appearances have allowed to keep her mother's legacy alive and promote worthy causes as she tours, entertaining with her One Woman and Lamb show at major fairs, as well as performing arts centers throughout the country. Mallory and Lamb Chop shows harken back to simpler days, happier times, and are filled with great music, comedy for all ages, and of course, everybody's favorite, audience participation. It is with extreme gratitude that she is here, Mallory Lewis and Lamb Chop, keeping Shari's legacy alive.
Yay!
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to show that because I wanted to let people know that you have this philanthropic and this very charitable side to you that your mom had as well. Tell us about the importance of giving back, which you do so beautifully. You and Lamb Chop, of course.
To he who little is given, little is expected. To he who a lot is given, a lot is expected. I have been very lucky. Now, has my life been perfect? No. Have most of the problems been of my own making? Yes. But I feel like I've got a platform and I've got a voice, and I have my biggest skill is I'm good at gathering a group of people and going, let's do that. And so that needs to be something that makes the world a better place. I've already done a charity event here. In the first 6 weeks that I was here, I organized an event with the expats, and we raised 650 euros for a group that brings underprivileged kids to the beach for the day. If people make the mistake of thinking that if they're going to do a charity thing, it has to be a grand gesture. Now, yes, the skydiving world records were a grand gesture, but it is just as important to provide 60 kids the ability to come to the beach and have a sack lunch and have a day. It is just as important to spend your time at a local food bank, particularly in these times, and just be nice to people. Being nice is a charitable act. So I think there you don't have to solve the world's problems to make somebody's day better. Charity can be, you're at the Starbucks drive-thru, buy the guy behind you a coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, charity can be, go through your pantry, which is overstocked because we all buy too much crap, and gather what you're not going to eat. You know, your kid decided he loved this food, you bought 15 of it, and then the next day they're like, I don't like that food anymore. I know that happened to me. See what you have that can benefit others, and your time can benefit others. Your kindness can benefit others. And if you want to make a grand gesture, make a grand gesture. But you don't have to give a ton of money to do charity. You can give of your creativity. If you knit baby hats for the hospital. There's just a million ways to make someone else's day better.
And that's a beautiful way to be, and a beautiful thing that you do. And that's why, one of the reasons why I wanted to show that, but some really extraordinary clips and things in that video. You also celebrate with this wonderful book, which
Yes.
is a must for everybody. Tell us, what was it like writing this book and putting this
I
together?
will say, let me be 100% honest. Nat, my co-writer, did most of the work. Nat is a biographer. This is what he does for a living. He's written like 25, 30 biographies. And he's also an old friend of the family. And one day we were talking, and he's like, why haven't we done your mom's biography? I'm like, because we're idiots? I don't know. Why haven't we? And so Nat just interviewed me extensively and asked me questions and went and talked to people. And then he put the whole thing together. I read it, I proofed it, and then we recorded an audiobook for that as well. Nat did most of the work. Truth be told, I told the stories. Nat did the hard work.
Did the hard work, forward by David Copperfield as well. We see
Yes.
there, huh?
Yes.
That's amazing. I still can't believe that your grandfather taught magic to David Copperfield. And look at David.
I like to say that I'm Copperfield adjacent.
Yes, you are. And look at the success he's had.
He's incredible.
Just
talent.
extraordinary.
He and mom are very similar in their single-minded focus and their intelligence. And David actually is archiving all of the videos and not videos, tapes and stuff on our behalf, because you have to keep those things at a very sort of set temperature. Otherwise, they just turn into paperweights. So,
yeah, right. Exactly. Well, I think, wasn't it all of the episodes of The Tonight Show that Johnny Carson was able to gather? It was like 6 miles below Earth or something in Colorado, and temperature control. You must have a storage bin or something that has all kinds of artifacts and memorabilia from your mom.
Not really. David has most of it. Mom was not terribly sentimental. I am not terribly sentimental. What am I going to do? Have a shrine room in my house? I mean, it never made sense to me. I have the puppets. I have their clothes, and they have an extensive wardrobe. But I didn't even bring their clothes to Portugal. What are they going to do? Have a dress-up parade?
Did Lisa have to find some things for the documentary too? Did she have to do some digging?
Well, I had all the tapes.
Yeah.
Like everything mom was ever on, I had. Or
that's great.
So, but David's got those, because I live in a small apartment. What am I going to do with them? Even when I had a nice house in California, I'm not an archivist. I have my mom in right here and right here. So
she's with you all the time. Absolutely, Mallory. She really is. And going over her extraordinary career, so many different things that she did, even the Shari Show.
Hey, baby doll, mama's got a job to do. I love that theme song.
Also, of course, that very famous theme song that everybody seems to be able to remember and to sing.
They can't, because almost everybody sings.
This is the song that never ends. Well, it is not never. No way, no how. it has never been other. It's always been. Ready?
I'm ready.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on. My friend. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the.
Okay.
Well, he asked for it.
I know.
And he got it. And you know who loved it too? Mr. George Burns is in the house. And George Burns loved it too with his cigar. Hey, Lamb Chop. Lamb Chop, did you ever meet George Burns over the years? I don't doubt you did.
Sure, I did.
George Burns loved it. This is a collectible. One of my aunts collected all of these vintage dolls. I mean, a room filled. Talk about a shrine. She had one to all of these dolls, and this got passed down to me upon her passing. And we pop George in every once in a while. George loves you guys and sends his love as well on behalf of him and Gracie. He loves you, Lamb Chop. And back over there is Gilligan from Bob Denver's wife, Dreama Denver. She sent the Gilligan doll when she was a guest. And right over here is the I Dream a Genie bottle. One of the
I met
Barbara Eden.
Barbara Eden. She is so gorgeous in person. I met her like a year ago. I don't know how old she is, but it is a lot of years.
About 91, 92 now.
She is stunning and charming and nice, and
yes
she is. Yeah. I was so starstruck because I mean, Barbara Eden, she really, I don't think her figure has changed at all. She was gorgeous and very, very nice.
Met her about a year ago, and she couldn't have been more pleasant and gracious. And there's a couple of people I've had the pleasure of meeting that have met that. You, Carol Burnett, Florence Henderson, and
Florence Henderson was lovely, and I met Burnett in the weirdest way. My mom had these best friends, Ken and Mitzi Welsh. Carol also was best friends with Ken and Mitzi Welsh, and Mitzi had passed, and then Ken died, and I was at Ken's funeral, and there was a sort of long-running joke that Carol Burnett could afford to hire Ken and Mitzi more than Mom could. They were wonderful comedy writing duo. So I got up and I spoke, and I told a story about how Mom was so excited because Ken and Mitzi were going to do some project for her. And then I said to the audience, and I looked at Carol and I said, she called Ken and Mitzi. And I did a little comedy routine about that, completely extemporaneously. And at the end of it, the audience was roaring. Sometimes as a comedian, you are just on your game.
You're going.
Your game. And Carol Burnett stood up, gave me a hug, and said, "You are very funny." I mean,
you said that in just the same tone that she would say it too, which is uncanny.
It was one of the greatest moments of my life. Carol Burnett looked at me, she hugged me, looked at me, and told me I was funny. I mean, oof. So I still get schwitzy when I think about it.
I was going to say, well, here you are, growing up in this atmosphere of Hollywood and entertainment, and obviously it's in the genes, it's in the family bloodline. You're a phenomenal experience watching your mother do her thing. Were you, as a kid, or even getting into the years of teenage, verklempt when you saw some of these people that were your mother was working with?
No, not really. I mean, I mean, Florence Henderson, I went to school with her kid, so I hung out with her kid. So I've known her since I was little. I mean, Patrick Cassidy, his parents, Shirley Jones and
Jack.
I'm blanking on his daddy's name right now.
Jack Cassidy.
Jack Cassidy.
Yeah.
But then I used to play at their house when I was 6. So
yeah.
I think those two were fairly large stars to me because they were also on TV at that time. But if you grow up with that,
they were neighbors, they were classmates, they were
we
had We had Ryan Cassidy on the show, and he's a real gentleman, such a nice guy. Ryan, brother of Patrick and Sean, and just talking about his mom, Shirley. And, it's amazing too, television and the power of television and how these kinds of folks that we're talking about, including your mother, who you lovingly celebrate, and we celebrate here, and we celebrate you and Lamb Chop. Television really allowed people to come into our lives in such a deep, profound way. You see the love of people like Dick Van Dyke and how people.
My God, he's so nice too. I've met him.
Did you meet him?
He's so nice.
You are so lucky. He's my one.
I mean, I don't know him. I've met him a couple of times. Do you know who else is really nice? Sam Elliott.
Yes.
His wife, Catherine Ross, is one of my closest friends in LA. And Sam is gorgeous. And to this day, he just reeks of testosterone. So Sam, I don't think he remembers my name, but sometimes we would run into each other in Malibu and he'd come over and he'd go, "Hey, Lamb Chop." And I'd be like, he was, but yeah, I think the big stars, the enduring stars like Catherine Ross, she is a lady.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also a badass horsewoman, let me just say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the discipline, the hard work. I don't know that this generation of stars doesn't have it. I mean, every generation goes, "Oh, the kids these days don't know." They'll figure it out, but the old-timey, old school stars certainly are very cool.
Now, aren't you married to somebody who lights your fire but also puts fires out?
Indeed, my husband, Brian Cummings, who you saw walk past me a little earlier, he's going to get my dinner, is the retired fire chief for the city of Los Angeles and was also a co-producer on Station 19, the Shonda Rhimes fire spinoff from Grey's Anatomy. He's the nicest man in the whole world.
How did you meet?
We met at the American Airlines Lounge on Christmas Day, 2016. I picked him up.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And they say you don't meet a good guy in a bar. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
So, but he saved our house during the Wolseley fire, but he is just lovely. I mean, this whole move was me. I said, "That's it. I'm out of this country." And we moved. But he's the one who handled all the paperwork and schlepped the 9 suitcases filled with predominantly my clothes. But yeah, I got very lucky.
You've received so many awards yourself as a very talented person. International Puppeteers Association Awards, Kids First Palmer Vision Award, and so much more. We mentioned the Emmy and outstanding writing in a children's series, all the novels and the shows too. You use full backdrops, and that's music and comedy, dancing, sing-alongs, and audience participation. Tell us about the shows.
Well, my show is 50%. It's the Lamb Chop Celebration Show or Shari Legacy Show. My show is 50% me on stage with Lamb Chop, Charlie Horse, and Hush Puppy, singing and dancing, and what passes for dancing. I'm not the dancer my mother was, and interacting with the audience. And the other half of the show is me telling stories about Mom and showing curated videos of Mom. So I like to start the show by saying to the audience, whichever Shari you remember, whether you remember the ponytail, the shag, the bob, the curls and the ponytail, whichever hairstyle is your Shari, you are going to get to spend some time with her today. And I love doing my show. That's one of my favorites. That's the downside of being in Portugal, is I don't get to tour.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll be continuing that here at some point for a visit. Like I said, your mother, just so beloved. What are some of your favorite personal memories of either her professionally or personal?
I used to love it when we used to love to go to the mall together. Now, there were many years when the finances were rather tight. And so we would go to the mall and we would go sock shopping, because you could always go to for mothers and daughters, going to the mall is really just an excuse to walk and talk. And we would say, okay, we're going to get some socks today. We would go sock shopping and then sit and have a coffee. I used to love touring with Mom, and I used to love being in Vegas with Mom when I was a kid. That was always fun. I remember when she got kicked out of not kicked out, asked to leave a casino gambling table because she was counting cards, because she was a magician. She knew how to count. Before they did the five deck shoes, they would just use a deck of cards or 2 decks of cards, and Mom could count cards. And I remember her being asked to, Miss Lewis, the management would prefer if you didn't gamble here. So that was funny. She loved being in her country house up in Idlewild. I got from my mother I don't know whether it's an ability or I cherish every moment. I can be really happy about a new set of sheets, or like my husband's bringing home Indian food and I'm super excited about it. Mom took pleasure in all the moments. So.
And all the blessings. Yeah.
Yes, little things can make you really happy. Like where I am, I'm looking out on the bay, and there's a whole bunch of sailboats and motorboats tied to moorings. Now, the boats all line up. They're all looking the same direction because of the wind. The wind and the current makes all the boats that are tied to a mooring ball line up. It still gives me a great deal of pleasure to look out there and see them all lined up like good little soldiers. And there's always one boat that is on a particular mooring ball where the tide is different. And that boat's always like, I'm going to go the other way. But if you don't take pleasure in the small stuff, you're just stuck with waiting for some giant moment to make you happy. And you're also, life's complicated. Enjoy all the little moments is something I learned from my mom.
When you've done the show, and I think, of course, there's this fabulous documentary we're talking about, there's the book, and all the things you've done to be able to celebrate the legacy and appreciate and honor your mom, and also be so affable, so approachable as your mom was, and allow the fans, the aficionados, people who love puppetry, whatever it is, just people who love you, love your mom, love Lamb Chop. When you think about all of this and when you sort of review it all, there's a lot of blessing and joy that's come along with all of this, right? Yes. The fact that you're doing it and you're keeping it alive and you're celebrating, I think, is such an extraordinarily beautiful thing, because, there's a million other things that you could be doing. And I know this isn't even like the main thing, because being a prolific writer and a TV producer, those are the things that, have been first. And then this came along. What is it like doing it, celebrating her in the way that you do?
It. I love my mom. I love my mom. It makes people happy. I like to make people happy. It's been a living. It hasn't been a great living, but it's been a living. I love to sing. I love to make people laugh. I love TikTok so much. I answer almost all of my comments on TikTok. I mean, when I get a viral hit and it's at 4 million views, obviously I can't. I lose the plot at that point. But I love what I do. It's a lot of fun. Hang on. Wait. We got something good coming.
Oh, is that the Indian food?
Indian food. You want to just poke your head in and say hi just for a minute? He says he does not want to do that.
Well, tell him we said hello. There he is. There he goes. Hey. He wasn't carrying a ladder.
Yeah, one of us is an extrovert, the other one is an introvert, but has delivered food to the extrovert. So
What do you feel is the legacy of a Shari Lewis, of your mom? Again, I have several friends who are kids of celebrities as well. And to them, it's dad, it's mom. They knew what it was like behind the scenes for that entertainer, that singer, that actor, whatever, to be able to make the magic and all the trials, tribulations, blood, sweat, and tears, happiness, rejection, success, all of it, the glamour, the not so glamour. You were there, witnessed as much for the time that you had with your mom. What is that, when you look at it back in a sort of a retrospective way, what is that like for you? And what are some things about her legacy that you think hold true today? How do you think she would like to be remembered? And how do you feel we remember her?
She would like to be remembered as smart, as hardworking, as focused, as incredibly talented, all of which are true. I think people remember her as a performer who made them feel good. But unlike Mr. Rogers, who said, "You're perfect the way you are," Mom did not say that to kids. She said, "You can do better. You can be better. You can learn this. You can do this. Get up off the couch. Be an active participant in life." And I think that a number of people have, a lot of the TikTok responses have been, Lamb Chop radicalized me when I was a child. And I think that is a brilliant legacy, because to be radicalized these days means you don't judge people, you want to feed children, you want old people to have health care. Kind and inclusive is a radical concept in America now. And I think if that's radical, I am proud that my mother radicalized people to be nice and share, keep their hands to themselves, and be kind to others. So I think if that's her legacy, it's a pretty brilliant legacy. I'm sorry that more people didn't take the message from the show.
Well, it lives on. Are the shows available for viewing anywhere? Her past shows, performances, is that something that
You
will
can go on YouTube? There's nothing I can do about that. It's complicated.
it's owned by other.
There's some stuff up on YouTube that I did not put up. I do, of course, have all the shows.
Is it a hope? Would you love to have it released somehow and put on?
I'd love to have her on Netflix.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
We've got 80 episodes. That should be sufficient. But at this point, I feel very much that I have stuck a pin in it with this documentary. And I promised Mom I would keep Lamb Chop alive and I would finish for her. And I feel like it is now, I've probably got another 20, 30 years left. I'm 63 years old, 30 years. And so now I'm looking to explore other things. I don't know what they are yet. I know they involve horses, a sailboat, and my husband.
Now, are you both captains, you and your husband?
Yeah.
Yes. You love sailing, huh?
Yes, it is very peaceful. It's my happy place.
That's the happy place.
And on the back of a horse.
And the back of a horse. Now, when did you get introduced? As a kid?
Oh, yeah.
That's cool stuff. That's great. So you're in a sweet spot. You appreciate it all. You love the reaction that people have to your mom, and you're very cognizant of how people feel. And I think that's a beautiful thing. You treat everybody with such great respect.
I try.
You are
to be a jerk. That's my. Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. Exactly.
Thank you so much.
You are a blessing. Is Lamb Chop there? Does Lamb Chop want to say
She would love to do a sign off.
I just want to say that you all should go see my movie, which should have been called Lamb Chop and Shari, though it was called Shari and Lamb Chop, and I don't know why.
Oh, it's okay.
That you still should go see the movie.
Oh, and one other thing, Lamb Chop may be coming to a television near you. I am involved in a new project with a gentleman named Joshua Disney, and it is an adult puppet show. I don't mean a dirty puppet show,
Yeah,
but
right.
and it is about a 600-year-old vampire who is of the puppet persuasion, who has decided to get on the dating apps and get back in the marketplace. And Lamb Chop and I are Mesmeralda, that's our vampire, are Mesmeralda's neighbors. And Brimstone is on the show. There's lots of big talent. And Josh is the funniest writer. He has written just laugh out loud comedy scripts, and we're currently taking it to market. So Lamb Chop may be coming back, but not for kids, but for adults.
Because I think that'll be really fun. And I love Josh Disney, and the television show, can I tell them the name?
Yes.
Is called Love Sucks.
I love that, because we say that this show has a lot of light, love, and levity, or lovety, Lamb Chop. So you are lovety Lamb Chop today on the Jim Masters Show. How cool is that?
I love it here.
You are the best, Lamb Chop. You've been entertaining us for such a long time. We love you, Lamb Chop. We love Mallory, and of course, Shari is with us in spirit. How cool was it to be on the Jim Masters Show, Lamb Chop?
I love being on the Jim Masters Show. It was a mastering.
Lamb Chop, I just wanted to let you know, when you took that little nap, Mallory said some really beautiful things about you, really glorious things. Lamb Chop, what would you like to say about Mallory?
I would like to say that she is a very nice big sister, and I love her. And
don't you just love her hair? It's fantastic.
yes, she got her curls from me.
That's right.
Jim, many thanks for having us.
You are the best. Go eat that Indian food. Is Lamb Chop going to get any Indian food too, or no?
Absolutely not. She's going someplace high and safe and dry, but there's some butter chicken calling my name.
I love it. You be well. We love you. Thank you so much, Mallory, for your time, your generosity of time.
Go see Shari and Lamb Chop, the documentary. It is 90 minutes. You will have a wonderful time. I promise.
And there is the website we've been showing as well for everything Mallory Lewis and Lamb Chop. And of course, you can find her on socials as well, TikTok. I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
But I thank you so much for everything.
It was a pleasure, Mallory. You take care and be well, and come see us again, okay?
I will. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Be well, and congratulations on everything.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Isn't she cool? She is fantastic. Mallory Lewis here on the Jim Masters Show, daughter of Shari Lewis. And wow, was that a great conversation or what, folks? Hope you enjoyed it. True pleasure and honor to have her here as we celebrate her mom, the legendary Shari Lewis, and Lamb Chop, who stopped by the Jim Masters Show as well. Great stories, behind the scenes, exclusives, and some rare photos that she sent along our way that you don't get a chance to normally see. There are several generations of the family as well. There is Shari Lewis and Mallory. Look at the love between mom and daughter, right? Absolutely beautiful. Shari Lewis, again, a legend, beloved, decades and decades of incredible entertainment with her wit and wisdom and her beautiful nature. But she was also a very smart businesswoman, a ballet dancer as well, a consummate entertainer, and also a music conductor too. Did you know that? Yeah. And as we were talking about, the documentary itself is called Shari and Lamb Chop. You're going to love it. And go see it. I know it's being seen in several different cities as we speak, which is cool. And there's a little rundown of some of the theaters: New York, Los Angeles, throughout California, Sedona, San Jose, Pittsburgh, Houston, Atlanta, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, North Carolina, Tallahassee, Florida, a lot of different places as well. Again, Shari Lewis, an extraordinary entertainer, puppeteer, and so much more. Creator of Lamb Chop. Lamb Chop, I believe, is around 70 now. Would you believe that? Like a little kid, she's about 70 now and doesn't look a day over 5. There is Shari Lewis again, surrounded by all of her incredibleness. And there she is. You know her from television and film and stage and so much more. She loved what she did. She was a master at it. And her daughter, Mallory Lewis, carries on the legacy. As I mentioned, too, she's a brilliant writer, multi-award winning writer and television producer. If you enjoyed this episode and we brought you back some memories of the incomparable Shari Lewis with her daughter and the special appearance by Lamb Chop, she was here. And we had a hoot of a time with her and with both. Then let us know, certainly let us know, what are some of your favorite memories of Shari Lewis and Lamb Chop? And Mallory loves this picture of Shari Lewis. Isn't that a beautiful picture of Shari? Don't forget, she also wrote this book, the foreword by David Copperfield. And how cool was it that her grandfather taught magic to David Copperfield, who, of course, is an incredible magician and so much more. Another great shot of the comparable Shari Lewis. Yeah, we love when we have an opportunity to take you down memory lane. There is mom and there is daughter, and there's Lamb Chop through it all. Shari Lewis, Mallory Lewis. Shari with us in spirit and Mallory with us with Lamb Chop. Cool. So many great memories we shared, and this was just really scratching the surface. The love of a daughter and a mom. Shari's a real hoot, isn't she? She's very funny. She's witty. She's quick-witted. She has a real dry sense of humor, which I love. She's from New York originally. And they're, of course, from Sesame Street and so many great memories. This was great. This was something quite special. You know, we need more of this, don't we? We need more things that make us smile and make us think. And one of the things that Mallory talked about is the importance of kindness and empathy and compassion, just like her mom celebrated as well through her art, through her work, through everything she did. Shari Lewis really was something special. And Mallory and Lamb Chop are as well. Wow. Cool stuff. Really, really cool. I enjoyed it too. I'm like a big kid like you are, you know, with all these great memories. And if you're not familiar with who Shari Lewis was, an American institution, truly one of the greatest puppeteers of our time ever, and ventriloquist, just really spectacular. Just Google her and you'll see. Again, if you're just learning about her now, she's no longer with us. She did pass in 1998, but her loving daughter carries on the legacy. And again, she's got her beautiful life in Portugal. That's where she is. She was coming to us from Portugal, which is a spectacular place. So many people love going to Portugal. A lot of honeymooners go there, a lot of tourists. It's just a beautiful place. Matter of fact, Keith Harkin, who's been a guest on our show from Celtic Thunder, he lives in Portugal. And, you know, I've interviewed him many times as well on PBS. And he's been a guest on our show as well. He's in Portugal with his wife and child. And it's a beautiful spot where she is. Portugal also has some of the biggest waves in the world. If you ever see the videos online with the surfers, you should take a look at some of those videos off the coast of Portugal. We watch them all the time. I love watching the surfers take on these 1,800-foot waves. I've been watching that kind of stuff ever since I was a kid because, you know, riding a 100-foot wave is not something I think I will be doing anytime soon. But I admire and appreciate those who do take it on. And the wave action there in Portugal is extraordinary there on the European coast. What a blessing to have her on the show. We thank Mallory Lewis, daughter of Shari Lewis, award-winning, incredible writer and television producer, puppeteer, and keeping that flame burning, celebrating her mom's legacy. Again, one more time, the documentary, Shari and Lamb Chop. Check it out. Rave reviews. Everybody loving it. Some other memories. You can do it. Shari Lewis, which is kind of the theme that Mallory had here, talking about how Shari was very inspiring to kids over the years too. remember her series on PBS, but she had so many specials. She was on so many talk shows. She was on The Nanny as well, episode of The Nanny, which of course was hilarious if you ever got a chance to see it. And good stuff. We loved having this shot of the two of them. There's mom and daughter, Shari and Mallory. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm your host, Jim Masters. We always ask you to take some time for yourself, love one another, take care of one another, and be sure and do the same for yourself. And definitely come back and see us again real soon. We love having you here. We love spending time with you as well. And if you enjoyed this episode, give this episode a thumbs up, like, share the episode from our YouTube channel right on your social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV, where all the episodes are. This will be archived so you can see it again, and leave a comment for us as well. Drop a comment right below and interact with us. What do you remember about Shari Lewis? What did you love about this conversation? What would you like to see more of here on the Jim Masters Show? We love hearing from all of you, and we truly appreciate all of your comments. It really means the world to us. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks to Mallory Lewis and to Lamb Chop joining us. It was a hoot, and it was a pleasure. We love you all. Take care and be well. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show. And we'll keep the porch light on for you. You're welcome back anytime. And don't forget, you can see the past episodes archived, all of them from the beginning, one after the other. And there's been a lot, hundreds of them, on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Come see us again. Be well, everybody, and cheers.